Hello, hello! How's it going, everybody? It is finally time for our last song challenge of the year. Hello, everybody. Hi. And we are here with Ben. We're here with Jess.
Hi.
We are here with Kate. And we are here with me. It's a busy bunch today. Oh, yeah. How are you all doing?
Good. Great. How do you
Well,
Excellent. Excellent. Well, welcome. Oh shit. Oh, the screen goes crazy when I swoosh it aside. Oh, that's not good.
screen. Yeah. Do you want me to fill in and save the day?
Yes, please. No, we're good, I think.
Okay. Well, you should have said, Ben, please save the day. You're the only good Instagrammer.
Ben, please. You're the only good Instagrammer. Save the stream.
I'd rather not. I like to watch the world burn.
That's fair.
Cool.
It's a good thing to do.
Sometimes it's all we can do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
And with that, thank you all for coming, and we'll see you next year.
All right.
Have a good one. Bye.
It's been whatever.
So today we're doing Song Challenge 42 already.
Oh, damn.
And yeah, we've been doing this for way too long now, Ben. And we told y'all to make some harsh pop music. So we're going to listen to a lot of poppy tunes and a lot of distortion, probably. That's what I think.
Yeah, we're going to have kick drums doing hard things that are hard to do, like, challenging your parents' beliefs or listening to people who feel differently than you and not interrupting them, or like playing 16th note triplets and then like 3/8 notes in a row and then a quintuplet, like that kind of thing on kick drum. That's too hard.
Really
You
good,
need both of your feet.
Really
Thanks.
You did.
Yeah, I don't know how I did that, honestly. If you made me think about that for a few seconds, I probably would have messed it up.
Yeah, maybe the new Satanic Panic will start today with all these heavy songs and the chaos it will create among parents.
Yeah, there'll be good movies. Yeah. I've been into movies with Satanism in them lately. I think it's like cool how I don't know very much about it. So like a lot of the lore or imagery seems like dreamed up and new, like the thought of someone making like you put the cow head there and then you put this thing here and that thing there, and then you're able to like communicate with another dimension is so mysterious and cool. And you would think I'd like the whole like body of Christ, blood of Christ kind of thing. I guess I'm just kind of spoiled because I grew up like aware of that, but this satanic stuff was kind of hidden from me. It's a lot more interesting imagery to me now. I saw this movie called The Wailing, and it's on Netflix in the US. It's a Korean horror movie, and it's great. And there's some good Satan in there. Really highly recommend the Satan in that one. I guess
a good Satan.
The Wafer.
Nice
The Wafer and Hereditary. Jessica showed me very good Satan in that one, and not even Satan, the whole other guy.
Stuff.
What's that?
I'll never unsee a lot of what I saw in Hereditary, and I respect that.
Yeah, I feel like the Wafers and the Blood of Christ is sort of like the Beatles, where I could never get into the Beatles because I was always like around the Beatles, and even though so yeah, it's not that magical to me to see the Beatles, but when you show me the Devils or a band that's real that I hadn't heard before, I like it.
Yeah. I feel the same way. Like, I feel like my first big like Satanist thing that I got into is the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. And then I was really surprised that like a lot of the themes are present in a lot of other Satanist like movies, because like just like Christians have like the Bible and the stories and the rituals, like so do Satanists. And so like there is like all these things that just keep popping up that are like, oh yeah, you do that too. Oh yeah. Like there's that the Book of the Beast, like this like stuff that I was like, wow.
Yeah. I too find it compelling and new.
Yeah.
Creepy. I've always been a spooky person, so I too, it's fresh for me as well. It's like the A24 movies specifically, that and The Witch or Witch.
Yeah.
Also,
yeah, I think it's The Witch.
Which one?
With two V's.
Which though?
Which?
The Witch.
The Witch.
It's
right.
The Witch.
Which one?
It's Ari Aster,
right? Which one? It's
You'll find out if you watch it.
Right. But what do you like? What is it? You're saying right? Which one are you saying?
Right.
Yes.
Like, this witch is a bitch.
Right.
Oh, as in. Oh, you're talking about like from the movie where she's green and is allergic to water.
Which one's
Close.
that?
Dorothy in Totoland, or like going to Netherland, or it's Peter Pan.
Right,
or like
going to the Netherlands.
Region.
What is it though? There's a tornado, and the dog is fine. In the whole movie, they never get back to that, and there's all this tension because you're like, "What's that dog's going to be rattled by the tornado?" But it doesn't show any signs of like trauma or like any sort of concerns at all. That dog was like fine with a lion, I think. Are you talking about the lion, or this is the lion in the Tin Can Man?
Which the closet.
She's in there,
and they go into the closet,
and there's like a whole lion in there.
Yeah, there's a lion inside, and there are witches.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Witches. Witches what? The lion with the lion, which is what exactly? Or like you're talking about? Oh,
which is tan.
I just can't really follow the conversation.
No, I think I've seen this movie.
Which one?
Yeah.
The Witch and the Lion.
That's a weird sentence. You mean the lion?
And the Witch, yes.
And which one?
Which lion?
Which lion? Oh. And
yeah, you mentioned Ari Aster earlier. I think I've seen Midsommar only. That's the only satanic movie I've been watching.
I haven't seen that.
These are my favorite horror movies, and yet my least favorite because they've really scarred me. But I love them for it. I really, truly respect those works.
Yeah.
Particularly for me, Midsommar and Hereditary were the big ones. I spy with my little eye, Kate. Hello.
They spooked you out because of how scary they are.
Yes, they are. And some of it's not subtle. Some of it is quite jarring, but some of it's subtle, like the soundtrack or, the fact that Midsommar is daytime the entire time. I associate spooky with darkness. Not the case. It's a tricks
That's a good
your
point.
mind.
I like how
I watched. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I like how I saw an analysis about this. Colin Stetson did the score in Hereditary, which I really recommend, Hugo. It's such a cool movie. But the score is very bright and uplifting, like almost manic, like manically optimistic sometimes. And it really is spooky to have such a optimistic, like manic music for a cult. Like the euphoric feeling of cult members is like one of the spookiest happinesses.
Yeah.
Like imagine like thrilled Nazis. What could be scarier?
Mm.
Right. Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. Even orca whales aren't as scary. And orca whales have been way more chill than people, but they've got they could kick our ass.
They've got some tricks up their sleeves.
Yeah, they'll get us later once
Those
they
orcas,
figure
they're
it out.
trying.
They're trying. Yeah, we watched Beau is Afraid. Jessica and I, we loved it.
Yeah, I watched it last night.
We loved it.
It instantly became tied my favorite movie with Everything Ever All at Once. Like,
wow.
I was just like, I love this movie so much. It's like it's unlike anything I've ever seen.
I can't wait. I already couldn't wait. Now I really can't wait.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's such.
Sounds like you've been watching great
and
holiday movies, though.
Yeah, lots of.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like Christmas is a very scary time for Jews. Very scary. Yeah, no, I mean, like the idea of having like a wholesome, like warm, like cozy Christmas is like not that appealing to me, to be honest. All of my life, I sort of felt like you feel your otherness a bit when everyone loves, like they have these holiday traditions and like it's all important to them, and
right,
you're like culture's barely staying together because there's like, you know, everybody's assimilating, which is fine, but like we're losing so much of like Jewish tradition, and like Christmas is solid. Christmas is like in the government and it's in the world, like in Japan, like randomly, you know what I mean? Like everywhere you look, Christmas is solid, and there's no like sense, like there's this sense like, come on, get into it, come on. And then it's like, all right, we're going to make Hanukkah a big deal so that our Jewish kids aren't feeling bad and left out. But it's like, Hanukkah was not supposed to be, Hanukkah is not like a bedrock of Jewish culture. It's just Christmas is Black Mirror. It's just the foil to Christmas. And so like, I like watching like all this violent, horrible shit during this holiday season because I feel like I'm still like having a very different time, and no one is like doing lessons right now. Everything is like really open, my schedule. So I'm watching a movie every day and trying to fill my brain up with like inspiring imagery and shit. But it's a nice sort of like rebellion against watching cozy movies about chauvinistic dads putting up their Christmas lights and then, oh no, I burned the turkey. Fuck you, Christmas, and fuck everyone who likes it.
Well, see, Perfect Blue is perfect for you.
Yeah, Beau is Afraid is perfect. Yeah,
I totally relate to that's the kind of escapism that I tend to gravitate towards, is things that are a bit stressful or spooky instead of something that is wholesome. It actually makes me feel better than when I go for that. So relatable in my own way, but holidays too. I'm like, what's spooky? Take me away from this, and not in that way.
We like the spooky holidays.
We like the spooky.
Everyone likes Halloween.
Apparently, telling ghost stories used to be really big around Christmas before Christmas got like
weird
what it is.
Sure.
Yeah,
like everyone's obsessed with this one ghost.
Yeah.
Or two, I guess.
And all they care about is that he's got holes in him, or that he's holy, or whatever.
Yeah. And yeah, it's like when Christmas was like more of a pagan thing, it was like also there's something about like spirits and the long night and burning fires and stuff like that.
Let's bring back the flames.
Yeah.
Also, Santa was scary, right?
Hanukkah, that's actually what Hanukkah is about. It's like the light. Santa's scary.
The original Santa Claus is like scary and like isn't just there to bring you gifts and stuff, you know?
Oh, really?
I don't know.
Like knock you around a bit.
I don't know if we've talked about this before. I feel like maybe we have, but have you seen like biblically accurate angels, like angels that look like they were actually described in the Old Testament?
I don't think so.
You gotta show.
Neon Genesis Evangelion, you know, like all the monsters. That's what they look like. They're like biblically in the Bible. Like if you, but yeah, we should show an example of biblically accurate angels. They are like, they have, they're like geometric shapes with a bunch of eyes, like a ton of eyes and angles and like circles, and they look like machinery, sort of, and they're so cool looking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Very trippy, actually.
Yeah. At some point, someone was like, all of the all of like the mythical characters, like even like Greek gods, all of them are gonna just be white people. Like at some point, somebody decided, some like culture decided that's how we're gonna portray. Like, why is like Zeus? Like, why I guess they are supposed to look like humans, maybe. But yeah, I just think we could have a lot more fun with imagery if we just look at these biblically accurate angels.
That's cool shit. I didn't know about this.
Can
Yeah.
we
We
share?
can't see it.
Where should we look for it?
If you Google biblically accurate angels and do an
Oh,
image
so we
search.
Google it too. I see. I
Okay.
thought you were showing us. So I was like, I don't see it.
I
I
can
don't
bring
have the,
something up on my
the
screen.
capacity.
That's. I
Thing.
mean, you can. But now we have the instructions. So
Double check real
Everyone,
quick.
leave the stream right now. Leave the stream and go look at this image search. And
I don't know
that's
how
all.
visible this will be. It's
what?
a little bit small, maybe, but yeah, it's a lot of eyes, a lot of
Oh,
circles, and
Well, we see, I think, the back end of your
Your,
streaming setup.
you don't see my internet
Your
Safari.
browser. No, we see your desktop, which looks like
It's
the YouTube.
gorgeous.
Oh,
Yeah, looks like the YouTube streaming like
I
back
hate
end.
that.
hang on. Why is that not?
While we're on, not to go too
Well,
ADHD here, but isn't it weird when people leave porn tabs open? Like they'll walk away from their screen and still have porn tabs. Like the people get caught like sharing their screen and then there's porn tabs open. I treat that stuff like it's radioactive waste. Like I don't step away from my computer if there's porn on it, like or a tab open or another browser. Never.
Yeah.
I needed to
Yeah,
say
you're.
that.
Thanks
Yeah.
for sharing that.
Yeah.
Well, what we saw with these biblically accurate angels was disturbing.
It's
You weren't
cool.
lying with the many eyeballs in the
Yeah.
multiple directions. And
Yeah.
I have that like little like gag feeling in my throat.
Oh, nice.
Like you want to eat it?
No, like I want to throw up on them.
Yeah. Well,
Actually,
that
That's
shouldn't be
right.
stigmatized.
was it you who recommended Berserk to me?
No,
Okay.
but I just heard that that's good.
Okay. Yeah. I've heard so too, but I'm not convinced yet. That's
Mm.
I'll say.
I heard it takes a while. I heard it takes a long time.
Oh, kind of like Neon Genesis, then I suppose.
Oh, you mean watching it? I thought you meant reading it. I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
watching it.
Yeah, I don't know about the watching it.
Um.
God bless.
So today we have 6 songs that are harsh pop songs, and maybe we should get into at least one of them right now.
Let's
We
do it.
have a song from Alex Artificial. It's called "I Want to Stay at That House, Boy," and it's a Cyberpunk Edge Runners remix, I believe.
I couldn't wait for you to come and clear the cupboards. But now you're gonna leave it nothing but a sign. Another evening I'll be sitting reading in between your lines. Because I miss you all the time. So get away another
was that a vocal from another track and was chopped and screwed for this, or do you know if Alex had someone sing that?
I assume this is taken from a cyberpunk song.
Oh, cool.
From the, I guess, game, or I think there's a
Nice
series now. I don't know.
Wow, that's wild. Bringing that much detail and so many twists and turns.
That was really cool.
Yes.
Super tight instrumental, as we're used to from Alex, but it worth repeating. But it creates a fun interplay with the poppy vocals. It's really, really neat.
Yes, we have a distracted dog, but I too loved that combination of like ambient, kind of sweet, wet synths, and then like the sugary vocals, and then the pitch shifting, and the distortion, and the sub bass that was like the star of the show for me. I kept fixating on it. There are definitely a lot of corners to go around that were fun surprises.
Yeah, it felt like there was a sense of an inevitable drop always around the corner, but it didn't happen exactly like I expected or when I expected ever. So it made it super easy to like focus and listen. Some music feels sort of like it's very like reflective of our time in the like rate at which we receive content, or like how much change we're used to, and I feel like this like speaks to that very, very artfully, where it's like easy to enjoy if you have a low attention span. Even if you have a low attention span, it's easy to enjoy, but you don't feel like it's cheating. It's not like in a shallow way. It's just very exciting.
Yeah. It did have that depth.
Yeah, I really liked that the chorus, like the so da 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 da, like it felt like they treated it really differently than normal, where like I feel like normally the lyrics in the chorus are like really, really on display, but it felt like the lyrics were just like part of the arrangement, and like that the instrumentals like really came out, and like there were a lot of like hits and cool like breakdown stuff in that section. And I thought that was really like refreshing, cool way to do it.
Yeah, and like one of the shifts, I think it may have been maybe like verse 3 section, there was like this robotic, like I don't remember there really even being a melody. It was kind of like this monotonous melody, and it had this like maybe two-tone robotic sound to it, and I thought that was also really cool to come from this like sweet, understated, I keep wanting to say sugary, the vocal, to then this, it felt like robots, and it was fun.
Yeah,
robots are fun.
Yeah. The beginning had like a Master of Puppets riff part, or something like
wow
that. But that's, I don't know. I hate when people say stuff like that though. Like that part's like this other song's part.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, Jessica, I think you were saying that the vocal's not just all chopped up, right? They let it just kind of sit there too. Was that one of the things?
Not quite just like it's more like it was like a brick in a wall rather than like the window. Like it was like and chorus, like vocals are usually the window. They're like always the window. And so to make it just like part of the whole thing, and having all the instrumentals be like more of the focus was cool.
Yeah. Like the spotlight wasn't just on the singer.
Yeah. And it was a good contrast because it was like in the verses and the other section.
Yeah.
So it was really nice.
Yeah, I like how much. Excuse me. I like how much space there was for the vocal, even though there was so much going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
hard
Yeah.
to do.
I'm kind of curious
when
what the original
note
sounded
is
like.
high.
How much was
Yeah, me too.
added or changed
Yeah.
or
But we'll never know because
we'll never know.
I think as soon as this stream's done, we're all just gonna watch scary movies, and so I
Probably.
just
Yeah.
I don't think we'll ever
Yes.
listen to music again.
Ever again.
I don't think so.
After this stream, no one will need to listen to music ever again.
Yeah, this is the last music, folks.
Yep. That's how it is. We have
I
five
kinda had that
more
feeling.
musics.
Nice.
Yeah.
Final five.
Until the end of music.
Yeah.
Yep.
Happy to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Special time.
yeah.
Do we have some tips for Alex for next year? Song challenges or making music or
I think what I've heard from Alex is getting really deep and good at what he does. I mean, like the first time I ever heard an Alex artificial track, it was already awesome. And, you know, it's seems like he's really refined and like assembled his own sound. And now I don't know if this is even like the right philosophy. It's just something that I always do that I think has good effects on me creatively, although I don't know about career-wise, but as soon as I feel like, all right, there's a style and I did it really well and I got it, it's like time to not do that.
Yeah.
And so it's not really like I think Alex should stop doing like all this awesome shit. It's more like I would say for me, I like to challenge myself to do, if there's other music that I like that I don't make, just to try and make that too.
Right.
You don't have to like go and be so intentional about it though. Like, I guess it's just don't feel like you have to make music that way only just because you're great at it. That's sort of what I want to say. So like,
Dr. Whom has an interesting comment there. What's an acoustic, Alex?
yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Alex is a
Yeah,
really good
like-
screamer and can write like really creative production and rhythm ideas. And I wonder, what else
Yeah,
that could feed into.
it's a good one.
Yeah.
Maybe collabs
I,
can lead
like-
into that too.
Mm-hmm.
More collabs.
Yeah. I think that we just like we see only like part of what everyone does and in these like challenges, and I know that people who make songs here regularly are also releasing stuff, but I think it would be interesting to have maybe a like have a session where we listen to random people's like release material that wasn't ever played here too. And I don't know about Alex Artificial's like discography or anything or any kind of release thing, but I feel like if Alex hadn't released stuff, that would be really exciting. And if he has, then just like learning what that's like when it's not a challenge and not like under time pressure. And
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
on his Bandcamp, it looks like he's got collabs, remixes, and demos collection, and then an album called an EP called Transistor here, just 4 songs that I don't know if we've heard any of these in our stuff. But that would be the place to start for us trying to get into more Alex.
Yeah. And what year is the EP from?
2,999.
Cool.
2023. It's this year in April.
Nice.
So it's new.
Cool.
Awesome.
The
Heck yeah.
the profile picture on his Bandcamp is dated 2,999.
I love music from the future.
Wow.
And I don't know a lot of Alex's music either, but just by what I heard just now, that was rad. And I can tell that he has, developed a unique sound. Maybe the fact that I'm holding a dog treat isn't helping. Just this dog. But I think Ben's suggestion of challenging oneself is always a cool thing to experiment with, and just a potential way to surprise yourself or just exercise something different. We have a Rosie. You're doing great. Yeah, so I don't have any tips because I think Alex's song sounded really cool, but I like that kind of self challenge as an idea. So way to go, Ben.
Thank you.
Cool.
It's a fun creative question. Like, if I took what I was already good at and smashed it with its opposite, what would its opposite be, and how would that work?
Yeah.
Not everything
sure.
has an opposite, but it's a nice train of thought.
We have, for number 2, we have Witch King and Scully, the track called Losing My Wisdom.
Nice.
The act is finally over. Time to relax in the field of clover. Time to cut off my mind, my wisdom, my senses, since I'm expecting consequences. So far I'm feeling fine. Medication's working, no pain inside. I have no idea what to do now, cause I have to blend my food like a goddamn cow. When will it end? I don't know, so I continue eating ice cream and read my favorite book, The Sunbeams, making it hard to look, and I listen to a single song. It starts to glisten, I sing along. Ice cream and read my favorite book, The Sunbeams, making it hard to look, and I listen to my favorite song. It starts to glisten, I sing along. My body is feeling exhausted, my jaw is weak and my cheeks are frosted. Unable to speak and eat, the pain is coming, it doesn't stop to bleed. I scream and bleed like a goddamn broke. The sunbeams making it hard to look, and I listen to my fucking song. It starts to glisten. Pain, please be gone.
Nice.
All right.
So the prompt,
yeah.
can you write the heaviest pop song? And yeah, it's interesting to hear these different interpretations of that.
Yeah. I like how this was not so much juxtaposing, but more like evolving into heaviness as it went on.
Yeah.
Nice, unique approach. Yeah.
Who's singing that? Are they both singing that at different times, or?
I think it's just Witch King.
I see Witch King.
Yeah.
I really loved the lyrics. They're so charming. And like it was a really cool journey. I feel like to say like all your woes in such like a happy fun way and then have it go heavy. I feel like it just like does something really interesting to your emotions. Like you feel like the happy delivery like it's kind of like silly, but also like you feel it. And then I think when it gets heavy, you like kind of retroactively feel it more.
Yes. Yeah, I thought that was really effective. I was very charmed by the melody and the lyrics in the first section and kind of knew that the ball would drop, but wasn't sure what was going to happen. And I was so delighted by that shift. It was an awesome surprise. And yeah, just like the driving bass and synth section, and then having it go back to the sweetness and knowing that's like this is a new normal, and then having that distorted guitar and then sweetness and then that little piano part. It was a really fun sonic adventure, and I loved it. And I really loved the Witchy's vocals too. Very charming.
Yeah.
And very like post-punk, it felt, and I, like you said about comparing the previous one to Metallica, like I don't like doing that either, but I heard kind of like The Cure, like the Smiths a little bit, in the way that the melody worked and the vocal style. So I thought that was really cool.
I think Witch King, since I'm expecting consequences, like that kind of rhythmic phrasing and that sort of way of like going about setting your lyrics to melody, I think you're on something there. And I have a prompt for you, which is try making a song that has the since I'm expecting consequences kind of like unhinged rhythmic melodic thing. Try to make a song that is mostly that and sing it super like percussively. The name that comes to mind is Michael Jackson, of just like Billie Jean is not my lover, like this kind of percussive singing where you're
Right.
like, since I'm expecting consequences, you try to like figure out a way to like enunciate that so that it sounds like or like where you really like it's not like wavy at all, and see if you can write a whole song and then also that way, and then also perform it as unhinged as possible. Like, I don't know if you've got roommates or neighbors where if there's any time of day where you can like really do a vocal take where you're just unhinged and people would be worried about you, that would be great. And if not, you can get in a car and use a phone and just like have a click going and sing to the track and record it on a phone. But like find a way to get the most unhinged vocal take you possibly can on a rhythmic vocal, happy singing disturbing lyrics kind of song. I think that would be the next level. I feel like there's just so many good ideas in here that if you were just a little more nuts, like had a little more abandon, it would be like crushing and there'd be nothing like it.
That's a good one. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, great idea.
Thanks.
I think with I have a little advice for lyrical content. I think it's good to be mindful of where you place what words. At some point, you had a phrase, I think it was the sunbeams making it hard to look. And it was like, the sunbeams making it. And there was like an accent on the it. But it is kind of like such an unimportant word. It doesn't say anything. It. What is it? So I feel like those moments in lyrics, it's important to place a word that's maybe a bit more important. Like you could have even changed the phrasing a tiny bit so that it became a verb, for example, saying the sunbeams make it hard, or not a verb, but then the accent comes on hard instead of it. And that makes more sense to me in terms of how you phrase lyrics. So maybe that's something to think about when you do your next piece. What words fall where when you have your vocals, your lyrics happening.
Yeah, it's like if you had. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I think it makes me think of just like one thing I learned in my songwriting classes at Berkeley was to like kind of just cut excess words that aren't like adding to the line, and just like thinking about lyrics that way, where you're like kind of like looking at each word and being like, what does the sentence mean if I take out this word or this word, and like how it's the least amount of words I can use to get my point across. And just thinking that, like practicing thinking that way is really interesting, and like I think you tune into like a part of yourself. But also, like someone said, like making your lyrics in English when it's not your first language is really badass. And like
for sure.
I found like the word choices to be, again, like extraordinarily charming. So
so, and that is so valid what Hugo said, and just too with those thoughts regarding writing and honing in your lyrics and your phrasing. But I have to say, I was charmed by the phrasing and lyric choices in this song, and so I think it is it's an important tip. But I'm like, I wouldn't change this specific song. Just leave it, because I love it. I love it.
I wanted to see just now if I could make an example of what Hugo's talking about that is like really blatant, like of a weird setting. So let's see if this is good. I don't know. The line is, I want to drink a Pepsi Cola with my wife, and like this is an example of weird setting, or like not ideal setting. I want to drink a Pepsi Cola with my wife. Like, it would be a little better. It's like, I want to drink a Pepsi Cola with my wife. Like, that makes a lot more sense than I want to drink a Pepsi Cola with my wife. You know what I mean? Like, I was trying to do a good example of that. Cola with my wife. Hey, have you guys seen... Do you guys seen, maybe this is only a Gen Z thing, have you seen Borat? Anyway, yeah, like being like cola with my wife is like weird because cola just gets like swallowed up in the rhythm.
Yeah.
With
my wife.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I wonder if we could think of it's the circle of... And I don't know, it's the circle of, here it is. It's the circle of, no, that's not so bad. Can I?
Yeah, it's like, where are we going to? Or something like, where it's just like a weird word.
Or like, where are we going to? Ingtu.
Yeah.
Because Ingtu is now the word. We are now going to. As opposed to, we are now going to. These are the best melodies.
You know, yeah.
Everyone's going to be so inspired by the melodies I just thought of too. It's like, that really drives the point home. Yeah. This is why I have so many students, is they hear these musical examples in the lessons, they get inspired. I go, where are we going? Where's the schmear for the bagels? So you might have noticed that Jessica and Kate are in a different location than me. And normally Kate is in a different location than me, but usually Jessica and I are in the same location.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Jessica's been gone for quite a few days dog sitting, and I started having a bachelor buffet where I take my keyboards over here, which it's okay, you can't see them, but you know what they look like, everybody. They're just like two keyboards stacked, and I use that as like a platform to put all my snacks. So I on my $2,000 Profit synth, I've got hot
Perfect.
sauce, chips, popcorn, cups of thing, and
It's a perfect table.
Great as a snack
It
table.
just-
Yeah.
trash everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bachelor
Not just
buffet while the
Sonic
wife is
snacks.
away.
Empty cans of
Not
Coke
just Sonic. Yeah.
with your wife.
Yeah. That's like a nightmare to like have nice equipment, but you don't use it because like you just have too much equipment, so it's mostly just like an area that you put your snacks. That's like a nightmare. That's like if you feel like insecure about your privilege, like that's like the nightmare version of yourself is like, oh, I've got all these expensive things I never use, and I just put my snacks on them.
It's now a hot sauce holder. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That makes you feel like a real waste.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you hear
No.
that?
Not to get all political. That's all. I won't.
Can you
Great.
encourage her to
Yeah.
We have track number 3 from Spee. It's called Balloon.
I've been dragging my ass around from the beginning. My face blew Yay.
Wow.
Who is that? Was that Hushed Hands?
Yes.
Who made? Nice. Okay.
Hushed hands.
Thought so. Okay.
Very nice. Very cool.
Yeah, that.
Very
yeah.
nice.
That's a cool approach to the prompt too. Like so slow and
Definitely.
heavy and crunchy makes it feel very heavy and weighty.
Yeah.
Which is a cool juxtaposition with the idea of a balloon also, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was very nice.
Wow. Yeah.
Very well done. Also
It was
mixed by Alex,
cinematic.
apparently. Nice.
Oh,
Very
cool.
cool.
That's a good move. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's a good move. I like Hushed Hands mixed by Alex. That's a really good combo.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, the super emotional song, and in interesting ways, like Kate just said, cinematic. I think like a religious kind of scene in a movie, like the choirs and the darkness. And I love the very beginning vocal performance, balloon, and then the heavy instrumental drop there. It's a really good
Yes.
Yeah.
melodies, really good melodies.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when that balloon came in and it opened up into this next section, and he was talking about stretching, the
Yeah.
balloon stretching. And then on the next opening, it was tear open the packaging.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, you're opening that packaging, because it really did expand in a very powerful way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hushed Hands has a
I-
band that has like 1 billion members in it. This song, I hope you adapt it for your band, because
That would be cool. Yeah.
it's also like an improv
Yeah.
band, which is super neat, because I could definitely see this being like the head. Like even just like the very first verse into that instrumental, that's the head, and it's improv, and then you get to that next vocal section, and then improv, and then but that's
Yeah.
a big effort too, all the harmonies, and good
Oh
job.
yeah, those ghostly vocals that were going on in the background,
Yeah.
the second half of the song, I am obsessed with them. They were so spooky and
Lightning started going on
distant.
at my place outside
wow.
as the song
Ooh.
played. So I don't know.
Whoa.
That feels
That's
it
epic.
feels synchronistic.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
a powerful piece here.
For sure.
Isn't this like the last songs of time? So like maybe this
Yeah.
is the beginning
Yeah.
of the ending event.
It might be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
speaking of demons and original angels, it feels very,
Yeah.
like apocalyptic, the chosen one, the what are they called? The riders, who are the people that come
The
at the apocalypse? Yeah, the horsemen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
feels like that's
Yeah.
on the horizon.
Yes,
So
written
thanks
by.
for shepherding us to the end of music.
It sounded like it was written by Matt Damon or Renee Hellweger, or is it Hellweger, or Ryan Helnolds, or Bob Dilson.
Nice.
Bob Dilson. Or,
Yes.
I really, with the intro, like the first verse, or the first vocal section, it really, I feel like, set up a structure that then was like immediately broken. And I feel like it's really interesting that this is like, when we're talking about like harsh pop song, because it just was like started in like in the bubble of pop direction with lyrics right away, and then immediately like was like, okay, instrumental chorus, sure, and it was like, oh no, we're never going back. And like that, I found that to be really exciting.
Yeah.
That the
Yeah.
form
Come
was
back.
so wild.
I kind of like want a version where it's just normal though too, because it was so good. Like,
Yeah, it was all good. Yeah,
but that's why you listen again. That's how it is.
Sure.
Damn.
Adapting it for the band is a good tip, though. That'd be nice to hear. Yeah.
Yeah, I would be pumped if I got to see this performed.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it's a nice theatrical piece, and the band is a fairly theatrical band. I'm aware of the back end, the secret workings of Hushed Hands.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get on that, Hushed Hands.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very nice.
That was great.
Yeah.
We have on number 4, we have Jared Ray Hawken with Unleashing the Wild Side.
Nice.
Party hard, eat a fiddle. Party hard to find your people. Party hard, don't be little. Party hard and find your people. Find yourself off the wall and realize you're a part of it all. Party hard with your people. Party hard and find the middle. Party hard with your people. Party hard and find your people. Party hard, don't be little. Party hard and find your people. Find yourself off the wall and realize you are a part of it all. Party hard with your people. Party hard and find your people.
Wow.
All right.
That's some wild stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like
Cool
I
gang
wrote down
vocals.
interdimensional. Yes. Interdimensional, nonsensical. It felt like I loved just the repetition of partying hard with your people. It with just like this like sidechain compression synth. Yeah, I felt like I was in another place and I wanted to party hard with my people.
God bless.
Absolutely.
To me, with the barking and stuff,
Yes.
it felt like a nightmare fraternity, like dark horror party where like it starts as like your classic college party and then it turns into like they're eating someone.
Yes.
Like, it was
Wonder
like
where
really,
that's coming
really
from.
like yeah.
Yeah, no,
I wonder.
like the interdimensional quality is kind of what I mean. It's like it feels like there's just something off. Like you're in your reality, but it's not your reality.
Yeah.
As you hear this like positive phrase and yet they're growling and
Yeah.
so it's kind of like there's a glitch. There's a glitch going
Yeah.
on and I liked it. Yeah.
It's a really like potent vibe.
Yeah, but surreal, dreamy, or hypnotic.
Yeah.
I felt. Yeah.
Definitely.
I think that this track could use a instrumental element that is consistently rising, building, and increasing tension. So one way that could be achieved would be like a low that's getting more and more like high end and opening up like a filter, like something like that, where we feel like an inevitable, like something's coming the whole time.
Yeah.
I think that would really like bring home the ideas. And then it could definitely, there's like in the beginning, like a something happening with a synth where it's like a lone synth playing a rhythm. That rhythm seems really important. So for those kinds of rhythmic ideas where you have like a repeating riff or something in this track, I feel like leaning into those rhythms more and bringing in drums would really help. Like, I think this track wants drums, and doubling some of those rhythms that are happening on the synth, some of those rhythms that are happening in the vocals. There's lots of opportunities to bring out what's there even more with that. So those are my two tips. A rising building thing, which could be drums. It could also be like, a riser of some sort. And then the second thing is to include drums to bring out some of the rhythmic elements more.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm curious if someone samples what you just did. 'Cause it's pretty cool.
Yeah, because you can do that with reverb too, just like a
Make a riser out of Ben. Yeah.
like opening up the reverb gradually, and that kind of a thing. That kind of thing.
That was great. Is that your looper? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I just pressed the
Very
buttons.
nice.
Yeah.
Just press the buttons.
Yeah. Yeah, if you only hang out with me for like 30 seconds, I can convince you I'm a genius. But then if we hang out for like 2 hours, I'm just a schmoll.
I've been hanging out with you for 14 years, and I disagree. I think you're wonderful, and you are a genius. You're beautiful.
I don't want to be a genius. I don't want to believe in genius. I want to believe in the magic of collaboration and influence and the community, and it takes a village. I don't want to believe in the I alone can make Tesla.
Yeah, but
I've seen-
That's fair.
Go ahead,
Genius
Jessica. Go ahead.
is genius is more complicated than just that. I know that's like what we normally see in our culture, but I feel like genius being like your magic, and also your magic in collaboration and community and all of that is like legit, and that's the way I mean it.
That's right.
It's like-
Remember, you contain multitudes.
Fuck, I forgot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Remember.
multitudes. Damn it. Fuck, thank you. I always forget that one. Every day I go in to work and I'm like, I'm one thing, and everyone's like, get out of here. I could have been more things. But I'll tell you, when you single out an individual and say that's the genius there, it's a risky thing to do. If you look at like my albums, for instance, let's say you think I'm really great, and some people do. So this, so it's a real example where some people think I'm really, really great at something. Pretty much anything you've seen me put out, like an album or a video or whatever, like the albums are produced or mixed not by me generally. The like songs are influenced heavily by whoever's playing on them. Album art's like often been Jessica. You go look at some of my old YouTube videos, like some of my more popular ones, they're usually collabs. And so like I know like where the me part ends and where the other people coming in begins, and the me part on its own is not like that's it's not enough, you know. And I think you could even say with Jacob Collier, like Jacob Collier music that really hits, it's usually collaborative, and but like just someone in their room being brilliant or whatever is like, that's not, you know, I don't think that's even what Jacob wants to make. I think Jacob Collier, who's clearly like, if there is such a thing as genius, that's the guy, right? Like, he's always like getting lots of people involved, and I think he makes his impact through large collaborative efforts, and he's good at that. So yeah, it's just dangerous to isolate people. And then also, like, I always say this, but I think it's really important to call women geniuses more often if we're going to call people geniuses, because I've noticed like almost nobody ever thinks of women and that word together. Like when they're saying geniuses, they're like Bob Dylan or this, like Stanley Kubrick, or like, yeah. I say that often. I feel like the only time I've heard recently someone be described as a genius, it was Emma Stone, by the director of a movie she's just made. And then the directors were like saying she's a genius actor. But I can't even remember the last time besides that where I've heard someone like in an interview or whatever, like, oh, but seriously, like, oh, you know, Kanye's a genius, but like, oh, but Rhapsody is the real genius. Oh yeah. I never like hear that. It's always like the troubled men. But anyway, I'm not trying to like brag about how like feminist I am either or anything like that. It just really is annoying. It's just like, I'm not even trying to look good in front of the ladies. I'm just saying it bothers me. It's like, I don't want to be called that. Like, I think of my parents, they have the same job. They're both in science and medicine, and they're both gastroenterologists. So they specialize in the colon and the ass. And yeah, I think of like the idea of calling one of them only, like, I don't want to say anything else.
Yeah.
You get my point.
It just, yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
And I'll say Kate Bush and Bjork are two people that I think are extremely innovative and talented and experimental, and I admire their work, and I could consider them geniuses. I also don't like to use that word lightly, but they're pretty freaking smart.
Yeah.
So I'll say two women just to add to the list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Great.
good for you, you know, good for you, you know.
Thank you so much, Ben. Thank you. Thank
I
you.
do
Yeah.
agree. It's tricky because often there's huge teams behind them and all that. It's never a one person effort.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it does create
Yes.
kind of an expectation of like, oh, if I want to be an independent musician that makes an impact, I need to be able to do all of that. But they didn't do all
Yeah.
of that. There was a
Yeah.
huge team that
Right.
did all of that. And that's super important. To
Like
keep in mind.
Radiohead is every bit as much Ed as it is Tom. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
you know, but people will single out Johnny Greenwood and Tom York because they've like done high profile projects outside of the band, and like one's the front man and the other is like
Mhm.
the weird guitar one. But yeah, like
Right.
that band is a band, like really is a band. And,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but yeah, if anyone's a genius though, Bjork's gotta be. Like if that's a
Yeah.
thing,
Right.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we will name Bjork our queen for today.
yeah.
Every day.
But now we got to think of a man, so
And
it's
every day.
even. I'm just kidding.
Mm,
All right.
That's the way it works.
Yeah.
Non-binary person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have all
Well,
of our royalties.
Yeah.
Being the character, I was just being like, you know, I was being willfully obtuse. So of
We
course,
know who you're being, Ben.
Yeah.
We know this.
Mm.
This we know.
yeah, like that character, that willfully obtuse guy, loves the binary. You know, that kind of way of thinking. Anyway, I heard Angel Markloyd, Fire Tools, like when we were making Music Theory to explain God's absence together, and she said she likes non-dualistic thinking, and that was the first time I heard that term, and it really stuck with me. And I think we all love non-dualistic thinking. I think it's very freeing and true, and like
yeah,
for sure.
Anytime it's like this or that, it's probably not. It's probably not this or that.
Yeah.
It's somewhere in between.
Yeah. The apps where people only write a little bit tend to be like dualistic thinking, hot centers like Twitter and Threads and Threads now, like that are just words. Everyone wants to put their dualistic brain on display there. They go, I just think this one thing, and everyone goes, "Wah!"
I saw, you can see some like really off the wall stuff on Threads now because their algorithm isn't good yet. So like if you go to the recommended for you, it's just hot trash. It's like the most like insane takes. You might agree with them now and then, but they're expressed horribly.
Well, isn't that exactly why the algorithm is good? It makes you outraged and check all that shit out. Like, who even
it's why
says
it's effective for one, like good by, if you define good as like its goal is to get like people to engage. But like if a good algorithm is to create like customer happiness or like
sure.
Like if you think about cars, right? Like if a car is promoted really well, it might get people to drive it, but if it sucks and crashes all the time, then it's still not a good car, even if you did a really good job making it enticing and people want to get in it. You know, and so like I feel like when people are in Threads, they're getting harmed actively. So that's what I mean. And so like I saw somebody the other day say something like if you still read Harry Potter, and this is all a quote, okay? So if you still read Harry Potter or like Harry Potter, like you're really, really bad in like very like flagrant terms, and then said, and I'm not just talking about because of the J.K. Rowling stuff. It's going like it makes sense to not like J.K. Rowling, and it makes sense to not want to read Harry Potter because of J.K. Rowling. But this take was a whole new level of like fuck Harry Potter fans, like because the writing itself is like problematic or whatever. But she wasn't saying like an opinion about it. She was saying if you like it, you are like harming. You're like harming the culture, or like some really vague, like you are just like a piece of shit, like kind of talking. And it's like, okay, like there's so many good reasons to criticize Harry Potter, but the second you say like anyone who likes it is trash or is like a terrible person or whatever, or like is like actively transphobic or whatever, like now you're calling like all these, like, because you're talking about millions of people, so you're calling trans people transphobic. You're calling like, you know what I mean? You're just like calling all the little kids that just don't even think about J.K. Rowling. You're calling them bad, and like, oh man! But that's the kind of way of talking that you only see on the internet. You don't see in real life. Like,
yeah.
It's just been frustrating how
it's always like people that extremely hate a thing or extremely love a thing. You're not going to get like nuance in between.
Extreme. Exactly. Yeah. No nuance. It's extreme because it is all nuanced. Hence.
I feel like we've all talked about this so many times, right? Like in our lives, everyone knows this. Why does it keep happening? Like, why is Threads worse? It's just as bad as like, okay, it's not worse than Twitter now. But it's as bad as Twitter was before Elon Musk, which was terrible. Like Elon Musk made it not even functional, like, far worse than before, but it was terrible before. Terrible. Yeah. And why is it that way? Like, why does it have, we all know this, like the people who design these apps, I don't think like the people working on Threads want that outcome. Like, I don't think that's why Threads exists. I don't think they're trying to do the same mistakes over and over again. But somehow, like, I like to believe they're trying to actually make it better than it's been in the past, like trying to make a better like system. But yeah, it's just crazy.
At the same time, on
I
Instagram,
think
you now
one-
see some Threads posts as like
Mhm.
cross-posted, and you even see
Yeah.
these like horrible takes on Israel-Palestine conflicts, and it's like, oh my god,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
are you seriously baiting me to go check out Threads
Right.
with a garbage take on Palestine or Israel? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Yes,
is-
exactly. It's
that's
baiting you.
really bad.
They're trying to pull you in,
Yeah.
like they show you an atrocity just to get you in.
Yeah.
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 That is the biggest problem.
Ticket.
That's the ticket.
I feel like part of it is that it's actually really hard to manage like data, like like they're getting like how to organize it, how to make an algorithm that doesn't just suck. And then another big like conflict of interest is just they want people to be on there the longest, which doesn't mean they're having a good time. And the reason why they want that is for ads. So it is like at its core, until something exists that is looking for mental like well-being as its like model and isn't ad based, maybe actually costs, like until something like that exists and is huge, we're not gonna make any progress on something that adds to our lives consistently by like interacting with the world. I think like the like dream of the internet is so different than reality now, and just that initial decision to make it free with ads it was really, really detrimental to where we are now. And I'm really looking forward to something else someday that is a nice experience that isn't trying to hijack your like emotions and your like the lizard part of your brain, but is actually like trying to like add to your interests and expand, and doesn't want artists to continue doing the same thing over and over again, but wants them to try new things and like rewards them for trying new things and like new formats and different length of videos. And it's just like it's a bit broken and we all can feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We see you, capitalism.
Well,
see you.
I really like that
You
you're trying
mentioned-
new things, by the way, Ben, on YouTube. That's
Oh,
great.
thank you. Thank you.
Yay.
Thanks.
We
Yeah,
like
I am.
this.
I'm trying to move forward. Jessica and I've been talking about it a lot, and yeah, I've been like just looking at what have I done in the past and what should I do now, and it's like more like I've always made new things and tried new things, and that's where you just find out what the next thing is by doing new things.
Yeah.
Jessica mentioned like that the internet shouldn't have been free with ads at the beginning, and I agree. And I also like, we heard a guy named Jaron Lanier, who's like one of the guys who's been around in like tech the whole time that the internet has become what it is. And like what's crazy is now you have paid with ads. So I think that's a really pessimistic, dark capitalism thing where it's like once like capitalism, I think, is supposed to say if people hate paid with ads, they'll go to the services that are just paid and don't have ads. But really what's happening is paid with ads, like everyone's like, okay, let's just start paid with ads now. And so everything is paid with ads. So then it's paid more for no ads. And I think like raising the cost of subscription services so that the subscription service doesn't need ads is good. Like,
Yeah.
I like if people subscribe to fewer subscription services, because they cost more, but there's no ads, and the stuff that they make in those services is really about like making sure that subscribers like the stuff.
Right.
That's a better world, even though, yeah, like maybe like it's more restrictive financially for people to experience those services, but at least it's not a race to the bottom of like making as many, pieces of content that they can advertise on as possible. And then maybe it's possible for there to be an alternative where it's like, we are a platform that's cheaper than the other platforms, but we only make 4 shows a year. And
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like there's something like that could exist. Yeah. I think everyone wants like more carefully curated stuff that has a deeper resonance with you. I think if you give me a choice, like you can watch one show a month all year, and one of those 12 shows will be good, and then the others are just like you just watch them because they got you hooked, but then afterwards you feel nothing, or they're cookie cutter. Or you could say you get one show a year that is going to be like your favorite show of your life, and like is going to teach you lessons and inspire you, and you're going to want to like make fan fiction about it, and like it's going to give you all these ideas, and I would want that. Like, and I think a lot of people would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's an extreme example, saying just one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and anytime it seems like there's maximalism, there's minimalism in response, and it would make sense for that's kind of what Patreon is. It's kind of what like OnlyFans is, like there's like this model for like you could have everything, or you could have like a really specific one person thing. And I definitely am very pro the like one thing that you actually are really into versus I could have it all at my fingertips and feel nothing, Something
with Patreon that I've been thinking about lately, though, is all of your incentives as an artist on Patreon is to have your best stuff outside of Patreon and your scraps in Patreon. And if it would like, that's not really a good customer experience. Like I really want everyone to come support all of our Patreons. Like I think that would be a good thing in the world, like for us to have money to keep making art even as life changes and maybe our like lives get more unstable or whatever, that I like that. I think it's good for people to do that, but like I also don't expect them to, because it's not a great customer experience being on there. Mostly because the only way to get people to sign up for your Patreon is to make amazing work. And then if you're going to say, all right, I'm going to make amazing work, but I'm going to make even more amazing work that's just on the Patreon, like that is extremely hard to pull off. And the only format that can pull it off is a podcast. Podcasts can give you a better product in Patreon than out, simply by being like, you get the full 2 hours instead of just the first hour. But that's but podcast content, you can like make 2 hours very quick in 2 hours. You can make 2 hours in 2 hours. So that's the only genre I can think of that where Patreon like totally is the best model. But like, what are you supposed to do? Like I guess like as a musician, if people like you for your albums, you can then release like an extra track or two on Patreon and maybe like behind the scenes in the studio. But the truth is,
or let them listen first is really the only thing that feels like special. You get the best thing, but first, and like that's the hook. But it's not that great.
It's not that great.
About demos too. Obviously, it's not the finished work, but that's still cool. To be like, wow, that was the original idea.
Yeah,
but that's the only other thing I've thought about.
It seems like we're all set up to sort of like do a million other things to get people to care about our albums, but really the thing that we do that like sticks with people the most probably is our albums. And like I always have done, Yeah, like I have some phases of YouTube where I was treating YouTube like the videos were albums, but then you can't possibly keep that up forever. Like like the pace of YouTube and making it like an album per video. And I've been really frustrated because I think Patreon is probably the best thing we have, and it's just like doesn't really fit in the world we're in because there's too many Patreons. Like every channel there's only 1 or 2 channels that I support financially, and I have watched or learned a lot from so many.
I still think it's tricky with what to post on Patreon because a lot of the times I feel like this could also be an Instagram post, and that would be interesting for people and might make them want to become a patron. So like, it's actually my interest to show this to everyone.
Exclusivity. Yes.
Yeah. I think the most like artist friendly version of Patreon is like where the artist is completely inactive on Patreon and like people just give them money to keep doing what they're doing in other places. I think that's like the kindest to the artist, but like I don't know how many people don't want like a little thanks or don't want a little extra thing or just to like be part of know what it was like for the artist to make the thing.
John Sabul said, I've subbed to inactive Patreons for a long time. We want to know that our support is making a tangible difference in the artist's ability to create. That's a interesting perspective that, you like, okay, so you're giving money to a cause. You want to know that giving money to the cause, it's being used for the cause and that it's making a difference. That makes sense. I'm sure there's a good number of people who go to Patreon for that. It's hard to draw like enough people in to have a good Patreon.
I found it's 50-50. Like 50% of people just want to support. The other 50% want the bonuses that they get out of supporting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I also feel like I would want different things from different artists, like some artists I'm like, oh, please tell me your process, please. And then others I'm like, I don't care. You're my friend.
Yeah, true.
I already know.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think, like my Patreon, like I've been posting a lot more on it and really good stuff or like really, a lot of stuff, I guess. Like I think it's good, but it's at least it's a lot.
It's good.
Well, some of it is just like my raw process, and I think that's only good for some people because it's so boring. But like but I don't see in my head how to convert the increased quality of my Patreon into more patrons. Like that's the problem is like it's a closed system, and even though they have now you can have like public posts and like there's more, they've definitely improved it a lot. I still feel a little bit lost as to how to like talk about my courses, my lessons, my Patreon, like all these things that I've got going on. And like I'm just asking for money all the time. It feels like.
Yeah. Which we don't love to do.
Nah.
No.
But it's what the artists have always done. At least there's that. It's always been this way. Not great.
Speaking of artists, we have
got
Dr.
one more,
Whom
2 more
on number 5.
Woo-hoo.
2 more, yeah.
Woo-hoo.
Dr. Whom wrote a song called I'm Famous. It sounds like this.
day.
I'm your god. I'm your favorite. Send me a text. I'll read it later. I'm a fraud. I am danger. I'm sick of everything around me.
I'm famous. I'm famous.
Now you want
A second verse.
something witty.
Or more obscure.
Wordplay's tough when you're tired like me. It's so depressing.
It's so draining.
I stay cooped up in this tower, bending and raging
For hours.
It makes me feel alone,
Alone.
but I'll never give up.
This throne.
I'm swimming in so much
Money.
I can buy up
Anything.
Are the highs worth it?
Lows. Only the dead ones know.
I'm your god. I'm your favorite. Send me a text. I'll read it later. I'm a fraud. I am danger. I'm sick of everything around me.
I'm famous. I'm famous.
I'm your god. I'm your favorite. Send me a text. I'll read it later. I'm a fraud. I am danger. I'm sick of everything around me.
I'm famous.
Wow, that's a very emotional one, very direct, and we don't hear Doctor Whom's words. I feel that often.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
They're good words.
Yeah,
Good words.
Yeah. Very, very good words.
Yes.
very powerful.
The very powerful. The chorus was very catchy, and I think that also itself was a good juxtaposition to what it is. It felt just like even harder or like more powerful, the meaning of it, and then just the delivery and mixed with like the 808 and the breaths. Yeah, it was very cool.
Yep.
Yeah, glitchy, so glitchy. Yeah.
I feel like this sound
think-
palette works really well for Doctor Who. It's a bit different. He finally did the
Mm-hmm.
808 thing, which you've been nagging him about for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
I'd love for Doctor Who to explore this more. I think it's where it works well. Maybe combined with the earlier, he did some Scott Walker-ish vocals in the past, or even try screaming, because I feel like that would work really well on a track like this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
was
think this is
thinking-
interesting. You should keep pursuing it, Doctor Who. Keep exploring. This is cool
Totally.
stuff.
Yeah. So I was thinking you could take as much as you do like sound design experiments with guitars and distortions and all the really interesting work you've been doing with your instrumentals. I would try those same kinds of tactics on the vocals themselves. I think you have a really nice idea here of going from the clean voice to like the werewolf voice. And I think you could just use more affecting and more effects. Like the performance is good. It just feels like you're in this really distorted, noisy world, but the vocal is like left alone, and it just needs to be part of the swamp a little more. So one thing you could try is over compressing the vocal and cutting a lot of the low end and getting some of that radio voice. Maybe, Trent Reznor comes to mind, but even like the way vocals are treated in like Death Grips, or like in very like intense industrial spoken word or rapping or screaming kinds of mix approaches. There's just like, it's a certain kind of distortion where it, like Sound Toys Decapitator, or maybe even like Isotopes Trash, but like this distortion that you wouldn't put on a guitar necessarily. It's like a I mean, I know you use it, so I can hear you using this sort of distortion. So it's like you put that on the vocal and you try to like cut out the low end and get that. It's like a sort of a radio effect, but a little different. But yeah, more sound design on the vocals. Put that monster work in on that stuff, on the vocal stuff.
Yeah, I was also hearing like I couldn't quite put my finger on like what I would recommend for the vocals, but I was also feeling like some kind of like contrast, and my thought was like if I was the producer, I would have you like I guess like perform these vocals with like really different emotional like takes, like really emotionless, super emotional, like screamy, or like kind of like crying, or like really angry, really close feeling like vocals. And yeah, I feel like if it was just like a mix of, it feels like you feel nothing and you feel everything, and you're close and far away, and like you just don't know what's coming next. I feel like it would really match the lyrics and the track, and like it would really like feel like one complete beast.
Would you want to stack them or just kind of stagger them?
Yeah, I feel like I would probably go through and pick like my favorite, taking like the best flow. But flow. Also stacking
could be cool.
It could be like good for certain words.
Yeah, words.
Yeah. Just like having like 3 different kinds of vocals at once for like a certain word.
I'll text you later.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be fun to play with.
Yeah, that's a cool idea.
But it is very cool.
Yeah, like making 6 doubles of a voice is a good way to like get ideas.
Yeah.
Like once you have that 6 voice track, like the 6 voice track available to turn it on or off, you can, just doubling one word with 6 voices is interesting.
Yeah.
Totally.
Cool. Nice work.
Yeah.
We finally have the last track before the apocalypse from JV. It's called Heavy Heavy.
Here we are.
Enjoy the last music ever.
Stay at home. Spices for calm. Pain is feeling so sweet now, but sweetness is not enough. So grab your celebration fire.
Nice. That's a good composition. That's
Wow.
like a
Yeah.
Yes.
lot of care went into that.
Mhm.
Definitely.
Yeah, super strong. Um,
Very
strong
cool.
composition.
Cool riffs too.
Yeah.
And there was a very tasty bass line in that build up. That was nice.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah. I feel like I saw all of us being like, bass synth, so cool.
That was cool basin. Yeah.
Cool.
And and just like the foundation of like the breakbeat drums with that doo goo doo goo goo goo, that was really strong, and the bass line with that just being kind of like the drive. And then when it played with the silence later, that was so fun. I loved those two sections.
Yeah.
And they were sounded like there was like a floor creak or something.
Or like keyboard typing or something. Yeah, there
Yeah.
was like a sample that sounded like it was in a space. Like it had like a lot of like atmosphere to it that like made me go like, where is that? Where's that coming from?
Yeah.
I really like the contrast between the sections and how everything flowed into each other really well, but the sections were really different from each other. It's not that easy to do, and especially when you're kind of off the script with like how a song works, because this is a pretty unique kind of strange arrangement.
Right.
So it's not like a lot of like rules already in place for like what a song like this does, but it really works. One example of this is the clean vocals on the verse sound so like, exposed, and then the vocal effects on the chorus sound so like part of the army, like we are part of the force of evil that is like flowing through this piece. I also like the emotion in the vocal.
The delivery was great.
Yeah. Exactly.
Kind of loose, punkish, but yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like got like a California kind of feel. Like
Right at Chili Peppers, you're saying? Or?
No, just
like stretchy, flowy.
Yeah, just like there's like a sound that is just like, I don't know. I think of just it's like a newer California, not like surf California or something like that. But I feel like there's like a rock vibe.
Oh, like the Voids?
Yes. Even though I know the Strokes were like a New York origin, or like at some point. But yeah, I feel like Voids, like that
Julian
kind
Casablancas
could fit in that world. Yeah, like looser and cool lyrics. Yeah.
I'm wondering what kind of effects Yavi puts on the mix bus, like if you've got compression on there or not, and like what's going on there, because I feel like this kind of music could be a little more brutally pumped. Like sometimes it could just be like tastelessly compressed more at certain points. And it's like the kind of music like Flying Lotus, Nine Inch Nails. There's these some groups that do the compression, or well, I'll just mention those because they're not problematic. But yeah, like the they do the compression real heavy-handed at times as like an effect on the mix bus. So it's just something I was curious about. I'm sure when time catches up, we'll hear about that, and then I might have a follow-up question or comment. But
I feel like some elements in the mix could have had maybe a bit more crunch or like high frequency sizzle to them. I missed a bit of that heavy distortion sizzling in the high end. That's my tip for the mix. Other than that, it sounded great.
Yavi saying, be honest, did you understand some of the lyrics? Because I still pronounce English really bad. Like the nice thing about music like this is you don't have to understand the lyrics to understand the feeling. So I don't think your pronunciations were an issue or anything. But the thing is that it's hard. I think maybe it's hard to appreciate when you're the person with the accent, but like individual accents add a lot of like originality and like positive quality to charm. Yeah, like I like the way that you pronounce things. And yeah, so you're saying you had a compressor on the master, but you took it out last minute. Yeah, so that's something I would go and study a little. And by study, I really mean like experiment, break stuff. Try to like turn up all the knobs, make the compression bad. Like find a way to get to a point where it's like, whatever I just did was too much. And learn what too much is, and then how you got there, and dial it back so that it's like, you'll see what happens when you do that. But what we're looking for with the compression on the mix bus is this sort of unifying, like everything feels like it's connected, and there's and like pulsating and pushing and like jamming its way out of your speakers. This has been done very poorly many times. So there's a lot of like people who say, oh, don't over compress. There's a lot of that. But don't let that get in your head too much. I would recommend over compressing till you find what you like with that particular effect. Like everyone wants to be subtle, but you can't start subtle. You have to start heavy handed so you learn what the things even do,
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just like having like a thought, and aside from like how the song sounds, just to how to pronounce your name. Is it Yavi with like a Y sound, ya, or is it Javi with like an H sound? Because I feel like I've heard it as Javi before, and I just want to check in about that for the future.
Yeah.
So
that distortion you had on your guitar that everyone liked, that fuzzy distortion, that's sort of like what I was talking about for Dr. Whom, for like the kind of distortion to put on your voice. But probably less. But still, like that's what I'm saying. Even though I said you'd never put it on a guitar, it's like it's not the metal distortion, it's the industrial distortion. Okay, it's hobby. Okay, hobby. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks.
Great
Excellent
job.
work.
Great.
That was all of the
That's the
track.
I'm glad
music.
these are great songs for the last music ever made.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
for
feel
sure.
pretty good
Honor.
about how it
Goodbye,
went.
music.
Very
Thank
happy
you,
with how
music.
music ended.
Forever.
Yeah.
Goodbye, music.
Thank you all for sending in your songs once again.
Yeah.
The 42nd song challenge already. God damn. We got to think about what we do next year.
Yes.
But yeah, thank you all so much. Thank you for co-hosting with me as always. Kate, thank you so much for coming on.
It's my
Lovely to have you here
pleasure.
again.
Thanks for having me back. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Thank you. So fun.
Um,
So fun. Let's talk about tunes.
Toots.
And tunes.
we'll be back next year. There will be a song challenge somewhere at the start of January. Have a good end of year, everybody. And we'll see you on the next one. Cool.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.